to the alumni, and of course my fellow ministers on this podium, the Honourable Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment, Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs, and the Honourable Minister for Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. You've been here quite a few hours, and on behalf of myself and my fellow ministers, I do apologize, but I'll explain it in that we're here for you, we're here for business. And this morning, we did have a roundtable with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and some other business leaders. And that session overflowed, and why we stayed was because they were making investment commitments. So you can imagine, we couldn't pull ourselves away from the money. We couldn't pull ourselves away from people signing checks, and so we got delayed. Nonetheless, we are extremely happy to be here, and so far, as I said, we're halfway through our consultations, our achievements so far. We've had insightful, engaging discussions, forged meaningful partnerships, and we're looking to continue to do that even throughout the course of today. And I think we're charting a course for combined mutual prosperity based on economic growth. I'd like to thank our hosts. I'd like to thank the Nigeria India Business Council, particularly our ambassador, who has played such a high commissioner of Nigeria to India, who has played such a prominent role, as well as all the others in putting this occasion together. Not least of all, the sponsors who are paid for it. And I think they got a front row seat because they are the sponsors. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Our focus is on attracting global capital, promoting foreign direct investments, and this underscores our commitment to job creation, economic diversification, and revenue expansion. Nigeria, as was said earlier, is an attractive destination for business. It is brimming with opportunities across the various sectors. And the climate has changed. It has improved. And that is why now is the time. As you no doubt will have followed, the major macroeconomic impediments to stability of the exchange rate, of inflation, of interest rates, and indeed of obstacles to liquidity, to enough financing, are now in the process of being removed. As we all know, it takes time to heal. When you take major economic decisions, such as Mr. President has done, in terms of the fiscal side, of removal of the subsidy of 2% of GDP every year, and denying government those resources. And on the monetary side, of removing the multiple, confusing, and very inefficient foreign exchange overnight. But clearly, for those interested in investing, the playing field has been leveled, it has been cleared of debris, and the opportunity is now there for you to seize. Let me just briefly give you a sense of the President's philosophy, of the basis of his economic plan, and the foundations on which he wants to build growth that will reduce poverty and indeed create opportunities for prosperity and of course a better life for Nigerians and more profits for me, if I may say so. And that is the 8 priority areas. Number 1, promoting economic growth and job creation, which speaks for itself. Tackling poverty is a key element of what he's trying to achieve. Promoting food security, improving access to capital, improving retail financing that makes durable goods, long-lasting goods, consumer goods affordable for the ordinary buyer, thereby increasing the size of the market and increasing the opportunity. Driving the inclusivity, including women, including young people, in what is going on in the economy and having them play their own role. And of course, adhering to the rule of law, the sanctity of contracts, and fairness and equity in dealing with the people that come before government for one process or the other. And of course, taking a hard line on corruption, which can do so much damage to the economy and society, and without business growth, business investment, and economic development. It is on those pillars, based on those priorities, that he welcomes each and every one of you who want to come and do legitimate business in Nigeria and combining in a partnership for mutual benefit between Nigeria and India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. May I request Dr. Bosun Sajani, the Honourable Minister of Communication.
CII Commissioner, please permit me to stay on existing protocol. The Honourable Minister of Finance is just shared in the room. And I'll start by painting a picture of how truly our focus and mandate in Nigeria is to diversify our economy. And I know, depending on the stories you're reading or hearing or watching, you may not truly appreciate the opportunity that is in Nigeria today. But if you're truly interested in this fantastic country, I would invite you to do one thing. Pay attention to the GDP numbers. And I know that for so many people, GDP is probably not the best place to look at. And I was of this opinion as well myself. So I decided to do crop production. Nigeria as a country is blessed with body of water, which the contribution to our GDP over the years has been quite moderate and standard. We also should be doing a lot in forestry, but also the contribution of forestry to our GDP has also been quite moderate. If you go into services, you probably also find that for services, the largest contribution is telecommunications. In the last quarter, telecommunications is now contributing close to 20% to the Nigerian economy. But on the services, as you can imagine, there are so many other sub-sectoral activities that can actually contribute to the Nigerian economy. And the same goes for industry. And one thing that is clear when you start to look at these numbers, and you take it a step further, and ask yourself about technical efficiency in our economy, you start to see that the total factor productivity is actually not where it should be. And this is what I'm passionate about as the Minister for Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. The power of technology and technological advancement in raising the productivity across the Nigerian economy. So when we talk about diversification is truly inviting people with knowledge and know-how and access to technology to actually help deepen the complexity of the Nigerian economy. There's so much we can do if we apply technology to fishery in Nigeria. And this is where opportunity exists for business people. There's so much we can do in construction when we start to construct in really smart ways. And we need a lot of things as well. Because of our population and middle class, we need to be building much more. So there's massive opportunity for companies and organizations that can actually use technology and smart advancements with innovation in the construction space in Nigeria. You find a president that is S-man, has an understanding of how business can actually transform society, which means his mandate and body language is in support of those who want to build businesses that can actually help lift the economy in the country. And this is what I find that is unique about the times that we live in. As a minister, the focus of my ministry under me has been working on strengthening the core of how you apply knowledge and technology to drive an economy. So we start first by focusing on talent and knowledge. Application of research and knowledge in critical sectors of our economy. So we're now prioritizing a few technological areas that we believe will be critical for our economy today, but also the future as well. So for instance, we're pushing really hard to see what we can do for Nigeria to become a regional power when it comes to artificial intelligence. We want to become a location where you can find talent around here. We want to become a location where large technology companies can actually come train AI models as well. This is something we're doing. And you will see it's probably going to take us a few years to get there, but one thing I need to remind everyone is that Nigeria is one of those countries in the world, like India, with a lot of diaspora folks who are well embedded in the top states that you can think of in the world. And part of our objective is to try to build a bridge to connect them back to Nigeria, so that we have the workforce to truly leapfrog to where we want to be. So this is what we're doing in terms of building the core for knowledge. We also recognize that there's no digital economy without infrastructure. As some of you will know, the telecommunications sector in Nigeria has been doing really well. It's the best in Africa. We're the best market for MTN, second largest market for Airtel globally after India. So we've been investing in this space for a significant period of time. We also have submarine internet cable, 7 of them that is landed in Lagos. So the investment to ensure that there's fiber optic cable all across our country. And as a government, we're working towards an agenda of ensuring that in the next 3 years, we can take fiber and install and have them reaching at least 50% of our country. This is something we're working on strongly. And we're inviting investors to come consider and look at the opportunity to actually invest in fiber optic cable within the country. We know that once we do this, we're going to be able to drive up the digital economy that we want to see. But on top of that as well, we're deepening the quality of our markets by prioritizing digital literacy. So the goal for the next 4 to 5 years is to ensure that 95% of Nigerians are actually digitally literate as well. Because we understand that if our people are digitally literate, our economy is going to become a lot more sophisticated. They will be able to participate in the global digital economy, which means they will also have better disposable income. And that will provide services, can provide a last mile haul, something that can give you an inroad for investment in Africa. And as you are aware, today, Africa is a single market as well. So when you're doing business in Nigeria with over 220 million people, it's a fantastic market for you to validate your business on the continent, and a fantastic place to launch and be able to reach the over 1 billion people in Africa. There's no better place to come from Nigeria. Thank you very much for coming today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. And now I'm inviting the views of the Honourable Minister for...
I think the best thing to talk about is risk, because we're talking about business, and increasingly we find that countries have rely on medium-sized family-owned businesses, loans, and more so than ever averse to risk, they're scared of risk, and rightly so. So what type of risk? We're talking about political and financial risk. Now when you look at political risk, and you're looking at a country like Nigeria, it's Africa, so regime stability is always something to be considered. And with Nigeria, I'm sure most of you know that we've had 7 successive elections since 1999 at different tiers, different levels of government, and we continue to do so. We've had transitions between individuals, we've had transitions between political parties. In fact, the system has actually even been tested. We had the unfortunate situation where a president died in office and his vice president took over, and he won an election, and then he lost an election. So let's keep political risk aside. You know, there may be people looking to make money out of it, maybe because of insurance or some other factors. Political risk is at a minimal level when Nigeria is concerned. Financial risk. Yes, there's financial risk, but at the same time, Nigeria, unlike a lot of other countries on the continent, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but you will see that in Nigeria, because of the size of the economy and because of the support over the years that government has been giving to create the ambience for business to thrive, even though it is not necessarily as advertised as it should be, we have several funds in different sectors. A situation where the Nigerian government and the Indian government are working together to provide that support for businesses is most ideal. I could go on and on and on. We have in the telecom sector the Universal Service Provision Fund that is also there to structure things with, and so forth. So meeting halfway is really the way forward. And then a risk would be at a minimal and business can thrive, particularly medium-sized family-owned businesses. I'm sure there are a lot of businessmen and women in this room that can give testimonials about Nigeria, and I encourage you to do so. India. I congratulate India for the recent success of the Vikram lander. That is really a prodigious achievement, and that is what Nigeria is also looking at. We're looking at space. So when you talk about Nigeria, a lot of people don't think we are a technologically advanced country, because we're not telling our stories, and our diaspora also needs to tell those stories. Nobody will tell you that it was a Nigerian satellite that was first to discover the to find out about Hurricane Katrina, for instance, and it was the same Nigerian satellite that two largest countries on our continent. And really, with this partnership, the sky is the limit. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, sir. And between Infrastructure Corporation of Nigeria and Invest India. This is the Infrastructure Development and Investment MOU. The broad scope of this MOU entails that both authorities work towards the development of sustainable infrastructure in Nigeria. We also have our National Secretary, Mr. And the speaking of this MOU, as I was mentioning, the broad scope entails that both authorities are going to be working towards the development of sustainable infrastructure in Nigeria, including knowledge sharing on sustainability in infrastructure towards climate finance and infrastructure technologies. Thank you. And now requesting Dr. Dores Anything, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Federal Republic of Nigeria, for her keynote address.
For digital economy, innovation, and communication, and Your Excellencies, diplomatic community, members of the organized private sector, other stakeholders here, please permit me to also stand on all other existing protocols. I'm actually very delighted to be here. It's actually my first time coming out, and I'm happy to be making that landing here in India. And, commemorating with the landing on the moon, I am so happy to be here to be joining you in that celebration. In addition to holding the presidency of the G20, India is hosting this year's summit and also celebrating the landmark remarkable technological feat of landing your first mission on the moon, as well as launching an observation to the sun. Nigeria shares in the joy that all Indians feel at these technological breakthroughs. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria and India are two great countries that have much in common. We have both enjoyed 6 decades of excellent bilateral relations. We are both populous, multi-ethnic, multi-religious countries with rich cultural heritages. I am pleased to also note that our two countries are becoming more interconnected. Air Peace, Nigeria's biggest airline, recently launched direct flights between Lagos and Mumbai, making India the only Asian country with a direct flight connection to Nigeria. Our two countries also face very similar. Thank you. Our two countries also face very similar issues and challenges, ranging from demographic demands, education, demand for jobs for our teeming population, to climate change, regional security, and even economic challenges. India has done so well in these areas, such as fintech innovation, manufacturing, business process outsourcing, digital identity, and most recently space exploration. All these are also areas of significant interest to Nigeria. Even as we have made significant and strong progress in areas like fintech innovation and in the rollout of the digital national identity program, I believe there are still many potential areas of cooperation and mutual benefits in these areas and many more. I would like to congratulate the government of His Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi for all the successes recorded so far, for India's success in creating opportunities that have put so many of your citizens out of poverty, in pushing the boundaries of technological innovation, and in being a strong voice for the developing world in such global platforms as the G20. Let me reiterate, there is no doubt that Nigeria has a multitude of diverse investment partnerships and opportunities. Many of you here are already familiar with such partnerships, and while many of you are looking for the opportunity to come and invest in Nigeria, while we focus on investment opportunities that are responsible, that are inclusive, that are balanced and sustainable, we're also focused on ensuring that these investments are driven into the following industries: in agri and agro-processing, in oil and gas, solid minerals, market development, digital economy and business process outsourcing, infrastructure such as rail, ports, this includes airports and seaports, bridges and roads, schools, health sector and pharmaceuticals, defense, creative industry, you name it.
Talking about government services, this government, the president, but also the Minister of Finance, is extremely committed to ensuring that we digitalize government services in Nigeria. We know by digitalizing these services, we can reduce the cost of government. And by reducing the cost of government can become a lot more efficient.
As you know, we have recently had a democratic transition in Nigeria, which has brought in His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu into office. The Tinubu administration is pursuing a renewed hope agenda that will firmly position Nigeria as a global investment destination of choice. I welcome you all once again, and I'm confident that the outcome of this forum will strengthen economic and investment ties between Nigeria and India. I look forward to connecting with you all today during the course of my stay in Delhi. I will be visiting some factories to have a first-hand view of how you do it here, and hopefully to create more opportunities for transfer of knowledge and capital between the two countries. The ambassador and the Minister for Foreign Affairs, who have actually made this event possible. I want to thank my colleagues also from the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, who have worked tirelessly to see that this comes to reality. And you know how difficult it is to have a conference in a different country from your own, different time zone, and in such an important event as a G20. I want to thank all the captains of industries here present who have also participated at both the roundtable and the conference to make this event possible. I want to convey the appreciation and the gratitude of His Excellency to all of you here, to the government of India for welcoming us, for the kind hospitality, making our stay very comfortable, and specifically extend our gratitude to all our colleagues and the investment community who have honored our invitation to come for this conference.
Dr. Owen Omar Giafo, the President.
Yeah, you want to.
Mr. Shreva, the Group President, Skipper C Group. Mr. Mahesh Maswani, Managing Director of Standalone Group. The Honourable Minister, ma'am.
Sir, excuse me.